Okay boys, we are back and better than ever. YouTube has finally unbanned me because they realised that I was not violating the community guidelines. But we have a big update today. Yeah. But before we get into the update, we've got to go train legs. Well, I'm training legs. What are you training?
I'm training legs.
You're training legs. I thought you said you were an upper.
No.
So leg day, and then big update. Stay tuned. Done, and the big announcement is we fucking did it, boys. We did it. Finally.
The champion in 8-9 race. Visible posing to the judges. Thank you. Overall, the secret champion.
I'm going to take this off because I feel like a bit of a douchebag, but we fucking did it. So we competed at the PCA Naturals 4 event, which I won the men's physique medium class. As you can see, this says PCA Naturals Regional. So I won the men's physique medium class there. So that's this one and this one. But unfortunately on that day, I didn't quite do enough to win the overall. However, that then qualified me for the PCA Naturals British Finals, which I believe is the first ever PCA Naturals British Finals ever. Okay, so we then came back and there was just two men's physique, like open classes. So you had the men's physique short and the men's physique tall. I was in the men's physique short class and again managed to win that. So this one says PCA Naturals Championships, obviously gold, first place, which is just absolutely insane. You know, both on that regional and at the natural championships, just an incredible standard of athletes. You know, I went up against guys that have beaten me before, guys that had beaten me 2 weeks prior at the WNBF show, guys that had beaten me across the years of competing. You know, I've been competing for 6.5 years now. You know, so to come away victorious against some of those guys and against some top men's physique pros in other federations was just absolutely insane. So I managed to win first there. And of course, the first place trophy here, Naturals Championship, first place. So then that took me on to compete at the overall again. The guy that won the tall class and that won the overall the previous day that beat me, I was up against him. But I just had this feeling inside me for that day. I don't know what it was, but I had some good energy going on. I was nice and chill throughout the whole day, as I was the day before, but I was just chill. I was in my zone. I was doing my thing. I just felt some good energy, and we took the dub at the overall. So as far as I'm aware, I'm the first ever PCA Naturals British champion, which is just absolutely incredible to say. Now, I don't know how many of you watched my video probably 4 or 5 months ago now, where I basically set out my intentions for this season. And one of the things I said was that I wanted to become the first ever PCA Naturals British champion, which I managed to do. And then I also said I wanted to turn PCA pro, and we managed to do just that, which still is just absolutely mind-blowing for me. Like the whole weekend, I was just absolutely blown away by. Again, you know, I was against some super high level athletes, guys that have beaten me before, guys that I've not been up against before that have won pro shows elsewhere. You know, so for me to compete against those guys, win, and then come away with the overall sword and the overall card, and then also the PCA Pro card, is just absolutely mind-blowing for me. Absolutely insane. As I just said, you know, I've been competing now for 6.5 years. I did my first ever show, which was the UKUP South show or something like that, which I managed to win as a junior. And then 2 weekends later, or the weekend after, I did the PCA Southwest show, which I also managed to win as a junior as well. You know, then the following shows I didn't quite do as well. Then I next competed in 2022, which I actually managed to win an overall at a PCA show, the PCA Southwest show, in which I won this sword, which is pretty cool. So I've actually got 2 swords now, so I can do this now. Yes. But of course, this was just the PCA regional qualifier overall champion back in 2022. Again, I actually competed as a junior here and managed to win the overall. And then obviously this time it's a bit of a step up. It's a bit of a level up. This is just absolutely absurd in my head. I'm going to get on to what shows I'm going to do next. But before we get into that, I think something that hopefully you can take away from this is that you might be a first-time competitor. You might have competed a few times before. I just want to remind you that I've been competing for 6.5 years. I did my first ever show in April 2019. It is, of course, now 2025, October. It's taken me 6.5 years of competing to get to this point where, you know, I've finally achieved this massive goal. Now, I have actually said on like podcasts, and I'm pretty sure on Instagram before, that I've never had a goal really besides until this year to actually achieve a pro card. My goal simply was to enjoy and love bodybuilding and just win every show. I'm competitive. I'm a competitor. I want to win. So my goal is always obviously to win every show. And if that leads me to a pro card or not, then so be it. But I did set it as an official goal this year. I actually created a vision board at the start of this year. Me and Sky went away at the start of the year, just down into Cornwall, a bit further down into Cornwall, and, you know, just spent an evening just planning out our year. And I'm going to put my vision board up on the screen now. On that vision board, you can see there's a few things. There's a picture of me when I won my overall sword in 2022, basically saying I wanted to do that again, which insanely I managed to do. You see there's a PCA Pro card on there as well, which again, insanely I've managed to do. Now, you might see that there's an IFBB Pro card on there as well. That's no longer in the plans. You'll also see there's a YouTube thing there as well, which, you know, we've managed to do as well. But I think it just goes to show the importance of, you know, having some level of manifestation or just a goal. Like, write your goals down, envision your goals, envision yourself achieving these things, because it really, really is doable. Now, obviously, you have to be realistic with these things, but you also have to aim high. The last thing you want to be doing is aiming low and achieving low level goals that really haven't taken much for you to achieve. You want to push yourself, you want to challenge yourself, or at least you should want to, if you do want to get far in this game, particularly in bodybuilding and physique development. But I think something important for me to say here is that I really appreciate everyone's support over not only the past few weeks, but particularly the past few years. Because even though I only placed 4th at my WNBF show 3 weeks ago, I had a lot of work to do to be able to get to this point. Yes, it's been 2 weeks of absolute fucking graft. 2 weeks of, you know, more cardio, less carbohydrates, more work, less energy, etc., as you have to go through in a prep. But it wasn't just the 2 weeks prior to the PCA show that allowed me to get that win. It was the fucking 10 or 11 years worth of training and mental and physical development that I've had to go through to get to this point where I'm able to push myself this hard and I'm able to achieve this level of physique. You cannot do it in a year. You cannot do it in 2 years. Yes, you can do well in bodybuilding in that time frame, absolutely, if you've got some great genetics, but it takes years to build the level of physique that, you know, is worthy to essentially win shows, win overalls, and ultimately win a pro card. And I can just say that with confidence because, as I said, I've been competing for 6.5 years. I've been training for like 11 years now. And finally, my time has come. So the big question is, when am I going to be doing my pro debut? Now, many would take time off after they've just won their pro card to build more size and all that malarkey. No, mate. I'm riding this wave of momentum. I'm getting straight back in with the pros. So my next show is going to be on, I think it's October 12th, the UK DFBA NBW show, and I'll be competing there as a pro. Now, I'm not a UK DFBA pro, but at the NBW show, they're accepting pros from other federations. So I'm going to be competing there as a pro, which is going to be on the Sunday. So I'm pretty much a week out. As of recording this, I'm 8 days out. So we're going to be bringing it there. There is actually cash prizes at that show as well, which I thought was quite cool. So if I win, which I know is a bit of a long shot, just going from winning an overall to now winning a pro show. But if I manage to win, I'll be able to win a bit of money, which is cool. Or even if you just come top 3, you can win some money. So that's pretty awesome. Quite a good incentive there to make sure we're putting the foot down and bringing my best. Then my next show after that is going to be at the PCA Open British Finals. So obviously I've just qualified as a PCA Pro as a natural at the Natural British Finals. But the next PCA show I do is going to be the Open British Finals, which means I'm essentially going to be against the big boys. I'm going to be against the big boys. But what I'm hoping I'm able to do here is I'm hoping I'm able to expose them. Hopefully you're watching this, guys. Hopefully I'm able to expose you a little bit. Because yes, these guys are going to be probably a fair bit bigger than me. You know, on stage, I'm about 74 kilos this year. Maybe a touch lighter, 73.5 to 74 kilos. A lot of these guys are going to be 80, 85, 90, potentially even up to 95 kilos in men's physique. But will they bring the shreds that I'm going to be bringing to the stage? Will they bring the shape? Will they bring the condition? Will they bring that pop that the judges want? Who knows? But look, at the end of the day, I'm going to get on stage as a pro in my next 2 shows, and I'm just going to be there to, you know, embrace the moment, enjoy the moment, and just really appreciate the fact that I'm able to share the stage with such high-level athletes, because to me, it is just an absolute privilege. I think something I did very well at the shows where I managed to win the overall and the first places was just to enjoy the moment and just be in the moment. You know, so I just want to bring that again. I just want to enjoy that again, because I really feel like that helped me to just bring my A game on stage, just enjoying the hard work that I've managed to put in and enjoying presenting that to the judges on the stage. So before we leave the video there, I just want to touch on the WNBF show. So I did compete there 3 weeks ago as an amateur. I placed 4th in their amateur lineup. Now, I wasn't 100% with my condition, as I think I kind of shared on here before, and you know, as I was expecting to not be quite 100%, it kind of took the sting out of the result a little bit. But at the end of the day, you know, I still wanted to go there, win the show, and also win the WNBF Pro card, which was also a goal I set in that video, where I also set the goal to win the PCA Pro card. But I just wasn't good enough on the day, and it's as simple as that. And that's what bodybuilding is. There were, you know, at least 3 guys there. Well, there was 3 guys there that were better than me and that beat me. You know, but that's really what lit that fire in my stomach to put the fucking work in and bring my A game for this PCA show. And, you know, it just goes to show that if you do put your foot down, get your head down, do the work you're supposed to do, you know, you can really surprise yourself with the results that you can achieve. Final shout outs, of course, to my coach, Pete. I've been working with Pete for like 6 or 7 years up to this point. You know, he's taken me through every single prep I've done. I've done 13 shows. I've competed probably 17 times because I've competed multiple times in different shows, in certain shows. So shout out to Pete. I would not have been able to, you know, achieve the level of physique and the level of shreds that I did without him. And I wouldn't have been able to win without him. Secondly, shout out to Sky. She's cooked pretty much every single one of my meals in prep. She's held me accountable, taken me through training sessions, pushed me, you know, and just been there to support me when I'm probably not feeling my best. And also just put up with me, mate. Just put up with me, because yeah, there's definitely been times where I'm short on energy, short on temper, but she's an absolute gem. But anyway, that is it from this video. Let me know in the comments below whether you're going to be at the NBW show on the 12th of October. I'm going to be competing on the Sunday, which I'm pretty sure is the 12th. And then, of course, the PCA Open British Finals. Let me know if you're going to be there. Let me know if you're going to be supporting. And as always, if you need any help on your journey, feel free to pop me a message on Instagram at reese.kiffcoaching. I'm more than happy to help, or potentially even hop on a call with you and discuss some coaching. But anyway, look after yourselves, and we'll see you in the next video.
Winner The champion, 899 Reese. Visible posing to the judges. Thank you. Overall physique champion.